it's always well hung. Just like Cameron Sackadoo.
Sackas.
All right, so let's pop this off. So, the one guy that we've talked about here that you don't want to let hang around at the end of the season is hanging around. And now we're tied. Webb gets it done. Fastest qualifier. Now, I kind of got some comments on my reaction show from last night. Because in the reaction show, I basically said, Jet gets a start. There's no way that this race goes the way it went last night.
Like, what's a start in your opinion?
Top 5. Which means he would have been right with Sexton.
I would have to agree with that.
Like,
I mean,
because he's pulling that 3-3 out that none of those guys were doing in the middle of the main. I think that was just enough to.
My point to it is that, like, okay, you look at the heat race. He started with Webb, and Webb was fast all day. Like, I'm not trying to take anything away from Webb, but you go to that heat race where he started with Webb and was with Webb there. He beat him.
But he didn't pull him, though. I thought, honestly, when he passed him, I honestly thought when he passed him, he was going to be, I was like, okay, well, there's like a minute to go. Yeah. And then Coop did what Coop, because honestly, I think in that heat race, I mean, Jet, obviously, like, he was faster. He was only faster in the whoops.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I think that's, honestly, and I have to disagree, and we can get to this when we talk, but, like, I think that 3-3 was not faster.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. It was definitely easier to go 2-3-2 or...
Chase has said a few times that he did it once or twice, and he said they did everything on it, and it was slightly faster, but the risk versus reward was
super
not
inconsistent.
there. Yeah,
I just honestly think Jet, as Jet always has done, is his whoop speed was just better than everybody else's. Because if I went back and looked at the lap times, because I was curious, because people were popping off, they were like, Chase had the fastest lap time, by the way. He didn't. Coop did of the night. Because I was curious, like, looking
at...
Coop
did a 53 flat or
53.01 or something. Yeah. And Jet did, like, a 53.3 Chase, whatever.
Anyway.
But I looked at, like, when Jet really, after he got around Eli, and he got a clear track, and he was closing on Ando, I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, like, where was he really that much faster than everybody else, or was it a little bit here and there? And there was one lap where he was, like, a second faster, but everywhere else you could tell, and then the minimal, like, gap it was, and I'm like, oh, it's the whoops.
Yeah.
Like, it's the whoops where he was making his time.
Well, and they showed that graphic. Do you remember? Did you watch the race last night?
I watched it today, but they had...
They showed that graphic.
Yeah.
Like,
Jet was 7 seconds or something.
Jet was like 0.3 faster in the whoops segment.
Which, if you look at the lap times, that makes total fucking sense. Mm-hmm. Which, it doesn't matter. You're faster where you're faster, but it's like, he's just making it up in the whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, Coop just continues to deliver at the end of the season when it matters.
He came to fucking party last night.
I was honestly really surprised too, though, that he was fast qualified.
Yeah, he was shocked.
I had the camera, or I didn't have the camera. They had the camera on him during qualifying, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he was pushing.
Well, when he got that first rhythm where he was going over the table, landing in the pocket, and then 3, I'm like, oh, because I'm sitting there watching, and they had panned back to him, and then I saw him do that, but they were doing it from the front. And I'm like, oh, that's fast. Like, that's got to be that's got to be a good lap.
Did they not do that rhythm until the second practice?
Yeah. They didn't do it.
I was watching that, and I was like, I bet you somebody could go off the table, over the other one, 3, whatever.
Well, Eli went long one time. He hung the front wheel, and then he checked up. And then after I saw him do that, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, somebody's going to go over that table. Like, it's so much easier to do it, but you got to be, like, right on it. And as soon as you land and it loads, you can't hesitate.
I was honestly surprised that there were 2 things I was surprised with. Number one, that no one went that single section there. I was surprised nobody went quad on that, because Jet jumped that several times and went long into the face, and I was like, I think
there was no transition into the corner, man.
And then that was going like right next to kind of the mechanics area, back across the
right before you went across the wall.
I think it was section was going on off.
I think it was a risk versus reward though too, man, because you're right, but if you clip it, you're blowing the corner.
And then the other one is that there was somewhere else that Jet went long on a 3
right before the finish line.
Yeah, and I was like, ooh, you could probably quad that if you really sent it.
Did you even see Eli in the second practice after the sand section come across the start where he jumped onto that little staircase table or whatever? And I'm like, if you could hit that out front, that's fast. But if you don't, you get too much. You're floating. Mm-hmm. You're floating instead of driving forward. And I'm like, So there was different options, but I think once again it all came down to, is this consistent enough? And there was a lot of shit that just wasn't.
I really thought that track was going to race better than it did. In qualifying, and I said in the qualifying show, I'm like, man, I feel like this track's really going to race well tonight, because the setup was like good.
And it was cool because there were options too.
Yeah.
There were the guy, like that line Coop did into the whoops where he was like quadding in and going quad or whatever. That was saucy looking.
Yep.
And then like the 3-3 that Eli and Jet just started doing in the middle of the heat race. Like, that is something. I love that stuff. Like, where a guy puts his balls on the crossbar pad and pulls something out in the middle of the night that you haven't seen all day. Like, I love that stuff. And you would think it'd make these guys a little quicker, but no.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I thought the track was sweet and it provided some cool options and stuff, but it, again, dartfish and all that stuff, if these guys just figure out what the right one is.
The dirt, I think, really held us back last night. Like, that dirt sucks. It's hard based, so it's slick, and then like it just, I don't know, like, I really think that's what killed it. I said in the reaction show last night that if we have St. Louis dirt with that track setup, I think the racing's completely different.
It's kind of wild too, because
I think then the options come into play.
Save this for the halftime thing, but I want to bring something up about, if you write down Dirt Worx, like, bucket thing, and I want to see what you guys think. I don't know shit about moving dirt, and you know a little more about that stuff, so maybe you can debunk my theory, but
the dirt back in the day for East Rutherford always used to be soft as fuck in that area. Like, in that area. Obviously, East Rutherford, that's Foxborough.
Yeah.
But it used to be soft as fuck, which I was surprised that it was almost like riding on gravel.
So they have, Dirt Worx now has a roller that goes on the front of the skid steers.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So when they have rain like this, they pack it in.
Yep.
Is what they did, and some of the guys brought that up in the post-race interviews I listened to about, like, yeah, they packed it in and stuff, but it was super weird because you'd have like these super hard faces and then these super soft areas, and like it made everything just more tricky. And then it was like blue groove here, not here type deal. So I don't know. But getting back to Webb, man, like, yeah, he came to party all day. He rocked, he rolled, he did everything that he needed to do.
When's the last time we've seen a pull the whole shot and win race from him?
2021.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Long time.
Mm-hmm.
How pissed is KTM?
Their own fucking fault.
If only they'd have put that frame on that bike.
If they would have just let him make what he wanted to do.
We'll get to Chase, obviously, because he got second. Yep. But, and I'm only saying this because I just, like Cole, I watched This Sporting, so, like, fresh brain. And you guys will probably disagree with me. A lot of people keep saying, like, Chase was riding great, and I have some comments about his bike setup.
Well, let's just move right into Chase.
But no, hold on. I don't think Chase was ever going to win that race. I think we always talk about, like, Jet managing races, managing gaps. I think Coop managed that race last night.
I believe so.
But here's the thing, the reason why I made my comment of what I just said about, like, people talk about Chase, I've heard nobody say that. Everybody is on the other side. They're like, Chase. I personally believe with the way Coop rode that race, and if you start thinking about just who Cooper Webb is, I think Coop did what Jet does, and he managed that race. Chase got close.
Yeah.
Coop pulled it back out. Because here's the thing. When would we ever think that Chase is actually going to pressure Cooper Webb into a mistake?
Yeah.
So why can't we give Cooper Webb credit?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Give Cooper Webb the credit, and I think that puts another feather in his cap for confidence, because he can just be like, oh, everybody says Jet can manage a race. Look what I just went out and did.
And I'm not saying, like, I'm not comparing. I'm just saying, like, we always talk about Jet. Why can't we say that about Cooper Webb as well? No. Taking Jet just out of it, he's just the example.
No, you're not wrong.
No, I just think he managed the race.
Now, with saying that, though,
we all just agreed.
Webb did make that mistake.
He did.
And had Chase not gotten over anxious and blown through that rut, Chase probably would have got him.
But what's who's to say though that even if Chase
Cooper Webb on the last lap?
Who's to say even if Chase gets him that Coop just doesn't fucking pull what he does to Kenny? And
yeah,
it all
could have happened. So.
When I watch Coop, to me, when he's got a lead like that, outside of just getting his doors blown off, I just feel like he knows better. He knows where his level is, what he's got to do to get out front, pull a gap, conserve energy, and he did it. Like, I just think it's not fair to give him the credit to do the same thing when we talk about not even Jet, just anybody. Mm-hmm. Oh, they can do this, but like, whoa, why can't Cooper Webb do it? Cooper Webb, anybody can fucking manage a race.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah,
rare.
I do. Nah, no, all right, so Sexton gets second. Top 5 start.
Bike still
another guy that was just taking the consistent line, because I was just watching him and Kenny doing the different line down that far rhythm, and he was going like on, off, 2-2 into the corner or whatever, and they were going over the table.
Yeah.
I was like, man, why is he just not doing that same line? But it was consistent for him, and he wasn't making up time or losing time.
Yeah,
so.
He made a comment in the press conference about some of the lines he was taking were just, I can do this for 20 laps and not have to worry about it, essentially. Yeah. Can we talk about that one that they caught on camera where it basically, like, he cross-roaded up the face of that
which he's done like a bunch of times this year.
And we all were like, oh,
yeah, but
shit.
I saw that and I was like, holy smokes! And I watched it back like 3 times. It was crazy that he like turned it into almost like a scrub and gained time on Kenny and turned it into a pass.
Yeah.
I thought that was very impressive.
I think that bike still looks like shit, though, man. I think that rear end is so fucking stiff, and I think, honestly, a lot of it had to do... I think that's why he was taking those outside lines, because he had to keep his momentum up to keep traction coming out of the corners.
Yeah.
That track obviously was hard as shit, but if you watch Chase, how hard that back end lit up every time, and it's not like he was even rushing the short shoot sections. Like, he'd come out of the corner, stand the bike up, and he just had nothing in the rear end. That rear end was just instant, I'm on top, and I'm spinning.
Yeah, but
so he realized, I got to go to the outside to keep that bike planted to the ground.
on the flip side of that, though, after the wall jump, he was diving it into that rut and pulling.
He was.
Like,
he was.
He was. I think they're going the right direction.
Yeah.
You can see flashes of brilliance of that bike in certain areas, but there are other areas where you can see it obviously lacks because he had the chance to dive under and go to the inside of Kenny on that rhythm section I was just talking about. Ass end stuck up, kicked out.
Yep.
I
Dude, but think about look how, and you talk about going in the right way. Fast as hell at Indy, every race. Great in Seattle, probably should have won Seattle. And then obviously last night, and I don't know about you guys, like he was decent in practice, but then all of a sudden in the heat race, when he's rolling up on third, I'm like, where the fuck did Chase come from?
Yeah, but also like watching it too, do you guys think he looks less animated?
What do you mean? Like when he's riding?
Like no scrubs, like just kind of...
I think that's him trying to figure the bike out.
And you know,
person they
Be fine. It's a bummer, because you always want to see Chase do good at Redbud. It's going to be a long weekend if they don't have that bike figured out by the time he goes to some of these tracks, come outdoors.
Yep. Kenny gets third. Kenny was fucking irrelevant all day until the main, which is
that's just
typical
shit
Kenny.
he does. This is
It's his time of the year to do that shit, right?
well, he's kind of coming out of a little bit of a slump for him.
Yeah.
And I think some of the other rounds too, like really weren't his fault. Just bad start. Well, I guess bad start is his fault, but just coming out of a slump and Kenny just
we say coming out of a slump, okay? St. Louis 12th, Seattle 5th, Indy 2nd, Birmingham 3rd, Daytona 5th. I mean, it's so weird how hard we are on him. Of like,
it is.
This guy's terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, his last 5 were 12, 5, 2, 3, 5, 8.
on a Suzuki nonetheless.
On a Suzuki.
Do you guys think with the downfall of World Supercross that he actually shows up to more than just High Point come outdoors?
I don't know.
I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, you think so?
I think
you think he does multiple rounds? He's not doing the whole series.
I don't know, man.
But how many rounds do you think he
the way
does?
he showed up on that at High Point, like if he, man, like he probably had similar feelings of his championship season 16 on that bike.
Could you imagine him showing up to Fox Raceway and just like 2016 Kenny shows up and it's like, oh shit, he came to play.
Yeah.
Him and Jet just put
The problem is
2.5 minutes on the rest of
The
the field.
problem is that his cardio, I don't think it's good enough to run that
think
pace.
so.
Even if somehow, by the grace of God, he came out and he just was like a second and a half faster than Jet, he wouldn't be able to sustain it for 35
Yeah,
minutes.
he's gonna have to eat a couple more livers and hearts. And
He's have to do something, pump some more roids or some shit.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Maybe. But that was a great ride by him.
Yeah,
to
I
get
mean,
third, I mean,
he's
yeah.
Fifth in points? Fourth?
Let's see if you guys know this, but I had this argument with somebody.
fifth.
Are there any factory Suzuki parts on that bike?
Yeah,
At
from
all?
2012.
Like
what,
updated
though?
Suzuki, like updated parts.
Like that's what I'm saying. That's about
Stator
it.
cover.
Like suspension, he's running his own shit. Triple clamps, he's running his own shit.
I don't know. I guess I haven't paid attention to enough to it. Like, I wouldn't assume so. Like any like updated.
Twisted's doing the motor. Like
I mean,
But,
does
I
he
mean,
have?
that
Does he? I mean, do they have a machined link arm and link knuckle on it? I mean, I'd assume he's got something on that rear end.
I don't know.
Maybe brakes, maybe caliper and brakes.
Yeah,
He's also got a custom. And people are going to be like, well, that's not a big deal, but to these guys it is. His perch. His perch and his
Suzuki was always known for having a badass.
and his
perch.
lever is machined a certain way. But he's always been like
Oh, yeah.
particular.
I remember
about that
Reed
shit.
always being horny about that.
Those things are awesome though, dude. They're fucking sick.
No, anything factory sick.
Yeah,
so.
good point. Good point. But I mean, if you're talking about like big stuff, I'd assume not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what I
Like,
was thinking.
who's gonna do it?
No.
They're gonna have to do it in house.
You can look at that as like all these bikes are good these days. You just put whatever you want on them to make them work, or you can look at it as, oh, he's a hoss for riding under a disadvantage. I don't know. However you want to look at it.
Or you could just be like, these dudes, you could throw them on a 2018 version of it, and they'd be just as good because that's how good they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Jason Anderson must have saw our video talking about how he's throwing away the season and decided to show up and ride last night, so he gets a 4th.
I mean,
Yeah. Maybe he did watch it. I listen to that Gypsy thing where he's always talking about watching shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
He probably did see it.
Maybe.
Hey, El Hombre, if you're watching this, which I doubt you are,
Ryan Villapoto does, so it's
Ryan
fine.
Villapoto does. So
we got a follow from Villapoto. That's cool. But I doubt he's listening to the full 3-hour show.
Definitely not.
But
And they're about him.
slide into my DMs. Just hit up Bones, ask for Cole, and call it good.
Sure.
He's boys with Bone.
My question about Ando at this point is like, okay, like we got 4 rounds to go. He's kind of in a situation where he's stuck in points. He's not going to win. Going into outdoors, he's been testing outdoors. Like, where does his season go at this point? Like, is this like, did we see him get another podium? Like, what is he gonna do?
He's like my walking question mark at the moment. Like, is he still figuring out the bike, or is it upstairs? Because we know sometimes it depends on where his mind is.
Did you not watch our video?
No.
You should have watched our video. That would tell you everything you need to know. He's throwing the season so he can get out of his contract early, so he can ride that Triumph next year.
Oh.
Is that simple?
Yeah, we talked about this last show.
No,
I didn't.
We did, because he was down at club, and I was like,
but I think he's referring to a show where it was just you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
Seattle. That was just
you
you.
filled him in on the last show.
And I mean, Prado's going to be by himself next year, so.
No.
Next year.
No, I'm filling him.
Yeah. They're going to have to find a fill in somewhere, man, because, like, it's going to be an
You know what? I'm going to sound like all the other homers out there on the internet. Oh, put Master Pool on it. Put Master Pool on it. Yeah, put Master Pool on it.
I mean, why not?
Like, he's flying the flag for Kawasaki right now. Put him on it.
I mean, put Colton Nichols on a Honda for a year.
I mean,
all the fans are going to be stoked.
You know who's actually doing better on a Kawasaki than he is in Supercross right now? He's from Michigan.
Oh, Mitchell Harrison.
He is. He's doing better in time Master Pool, and he's on a Cowie.
Yeah.
In Supercross, yeah.
Throw him on there.
Yeah,
Throw
Cade
Clayson on.
I mean, Mitchell wants to ride outdoors, bro.
Yeah.
In America.
There you go.
So there you go. Throw Mitchell Harrison on that Cowie.
Maybe you should text him and be like, hey, bro, you over there talking to Cowie about since AC's retiring? Like, hey, here I am.
I bet you he actually already is.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, he should be.
He should be. I mean, he's definitely
the kind of guy to go over and do that kind of stuff, though. Put himself out there.
I mean, think about how the pro circuit thing happened.
That how he did it. He went over and just said, hey, I want it.
But I also think he's got a good relationship with those guys at Partzilla. So
I think so too, but I think that Partzilla team is again one of those teams that has to know, like, hey, we're here to help guys go beyond this. So like, you have to expect guys,
especially because Mitchell has always been better outdoors.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
he's just whatever. I think next couple rounds will be good for Anderson.
Does he get a podium before the end of the year?
I think.
I mean, think about it, dude. We're going to Nashville, but it's supposed to rain. Nobody.
It's gonna rain.
Yeah, it's gonna rain.
Shocker.
Nobody knows what Philly's gonna be like. I don't know. And then Denver and Salt Lake is gonna be hard. So maybe Denver, Salt Lake, he gets a podium.
Jack it off.
Okay. I don't think that fit in the context.
It sure did. All right. So
it was gonna be hard.
So
Stop.
Jet gets a terrible start, comes back to 5th.
Great ride.
Great. I mean, I thought it was decent he was 16th when they went across the line on the first lap. He was 14th coming across the whole shot line because it counted.
Very VRM of him.
Yes.
To manage that race.
Yes, to not put it down. We got
what?
Are you complimenting the man?
Dude, he rode great. I mean, I'm going to say nice things about Deegan too. Like Jet, honestly, man, and I think also it definitely helped him having Eli to mark Eli.
When we got between 15-minute mark and 10-minute mark in that main, and neither one of them were really like going. I was like, this isn't where I don't know where we're going to get to, but it isn't going to be good.
Yeah.
So
they slowly worked their way in.
That terrible start is my Pro Flow mini moment of the race because that changed the whole atmosphere of this points championship, in my opinion. So
I also think, though, I mean, he probably still would have got to where he was, but I definitely think had Eli not been in front of him and somebody to mark off, I think it would have been a lot. He still would have made it where he made it, but I think having Eli and someone to gauge, I think that definitely helped him move his way through the pack.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Also, the last corner deal with Anderson, I think he was a little bit of a bitch about it, I think it's only because it was the number 21. This goes all the way back to the beginning of the season.
Did you see the Dirt Shark video? From what practice?
When he ran into the back of him or whatever.
Yeah, Dirt Shark's like, so Ando, you and your boy out there, and he's like, what? And he's like, you and your boy. Oh yeah, I came in real hot, got in the back of him. He's like, yeah, I saw you throwing your hands up, like, what was up with that? He's like, well, it was totally my fault, but I wanted him to think it was his fault. I'm like, that is a vet move right there. Like, fuck you, kid, this is your fault.
It was that little interaction was funny, and then he's got that like little laugh, like Deegan
laugh.
Yeah, kind of. But no, I think if that would have been anybody else in the last corner, Jet would have ran it in a little harder, but I don't think he wanted the... he
didn't want that smoke.
He didn't want the smoke.
Well, Barsha too. He probably wouldn't have done it if it was Barsha too. So Barsha and
punted him.
So
I should have saw it off the front end, bro. Do it. Fuck, because you wouldn't be tied in points right now.
No.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a learning. Jet's always talking about like learning experience. That's one of those learning experiences for him because instead of trying to dive into a rut, he's got to go across all of them.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I will say though, it is wild how up and down his starts have been the last couple rounds.
Jet,
you go from like what it was in Indy, and then Seattle and St. Louis. I know the second main was good, but the first one wasn't, and then that, and then obviously his heat races are really like, dude, it is just so weird because he has always been good at starts, and then outdoors, we all know what he did outdoors. Like,
I'm super interested with how up and down his starts have been this year. When we get outdoors, do we go back to what they were last year, where he's just yanking them at every
or is
race?
It going to be like up and down like this? Because if it's up and down like this, I mean, that's definitely going to make it more interesting. Yeah, it's going to be.
Well, last night, I'd be interested to know what Cooper Webb was saying on the line starting next to him.
You little bitch.
I think maybe there were some words said, and maybe it did enough to give him a shitty start.
Maybe.
I'd have just tapped him on his shoulder.
Good luck, buddy. Good luck, buddy.
Good luck, bud.
Who the fuck you call him bud, pal?
Call me pal, dick.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Just jack it off.
Jack it off. Just jack it off.
I mean,
what?
Yeah, you know how Webb is. He does. He's not afraid to run his mouth and say little snarky comments like that.
I mean, hey, dude, like if that's what you got to do, and like honestly, if I'm Coop, depending on these next 4 races, like how the qualifier or the heat races go,
I'm lining
up right next to him, bro.
Time.
Whether it's working or not, just make him think like, dude, I'm right here. Hey, jack it off.
And I think, I think that's exactly what he did last night.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, it could be.
It like I said, it is very weird to see how up and down Jet starts have been because they have been either like, hey, I'm first or second, or I'm like,
or like
10th.
Last night, which was
and dude, when he hit Ando, obviously he didn't mean to. There was part of me that goes, oh shit, like he's going down in the first turn again. And then obviously we have a whole different conversation now too. But
yeah,
no, he was great. What's up?
Somebody hit Ando.
Jet ran in the inside of him on the start. He didn't mean to.
He got crossed up and ended up.
He hit Mookie.
Was that who he hit?
He ran into Malcolm.
Didn't Ando though? Like, didn't he run into Ando in the process after that?
Ando was ahead of the whole deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He ran into Malcolm Stewart.
Anyway, that was a good ride by him to get back to 5th there and salvage that so that they're tied in points. And now we have a 4-race playoff series here. Here's the thing, though. I talked to Coach last night. Coach is like, these guys are in trouble now because he's pissed. And I'm like,
we gotta stop. We gotta stop doing that. We gotta stop doing that.
I'm like, I could see it. Do I really think? I don't know. It's hard to say because you see like last night, and it's like all it takes is a bad start, and we all know Denver track's very similar. It's like that silty, rocky.
Salt Lake's
yeah. Where like it's unless the track is built a certain way, it's hard to make time anywhere. Which again, that's what I think part of it was last night. That track, there was literally just nowhere you made time on anybody.
I think we don't know what's going to happen in Philly, so I can't comment on that. But I mean, dude, we look at the next 3 out of 4 tracks, and more than likely they're going to be the exact same thing, one line to shit. I mean, dude, Nashville last year was one line as hell. I love Coach to death. We got to stop saying that whole piss thing. Like Jet, we can say Jet's going to be pissed and he's pissed, but like it's just I personally don't think with Jet, with his attitude, whether he's pissed or he's just being himself, it really makes a difference because he's either going to do well, he's either going to win, or he's going to have moments like last night. I personally, I don't think his attitude going into the weekend makes a bit of damn difference. Because we can say he's pissed, and maybe he's going to be. But does that mean he wants the championship all of a sudden more than he did last night? Like I don't see that. Like I love Coach to death, and I agree with him on a lot of stuff. But I just don't like it when people say that because like what Cooper Webb's going to be pissed. Like, I don't think it
Tomac's
makes
probably pretty pissed.
I don't think it makes a difference with these guys. Like, I just think that they're too good for. They're gonna be pissed. I just don't think that makes a difference personally.
All it takes is one pissed off race where he puts 45 seconds on everybody, and then
Well,
that changes the dynamic also.
It's never gonna happen in a Supercross race.
45 seconds in Supercross?
Maybe in a mud race, but not in a dry race. Like, that's just impossible. Not in a 20.
Yeah.
It's never gonna happen. Stu never even was ever gonna do something like that.
He was 2 seconds a lap faster in St. Louis. How many laps did we do?
So
You put him in a 20-minute main.
The whole main, he was 2 seconds.
he's not. He wasn't 2 seconds lap to the whole fucking main.
Yeah.
You're just not gonna do that. It's not sustainable. Even somebody
God.
like Jet.
All right.
This guy.
See, I agree with him, and I'm doing well, and I'm giving Jet all of his flowers like he deserves. But then,
and then
when
he
says
comes out of left field with
but then when
that.
he says stuff like that,
I'm just
like
saying,
that's
you're
why
saying it's impossible.
it's impossible.
You're
I mean,
2 seconds a
yes,
lap faster.
Yes, it's possible mathematically.
It's possible if he's racing the Futures class.
Stu, Toronto 2013, if he doesn't get a bad start and have to come through the pack, he probably puts 45 seconds on everybody.
Yeah, no, he
No.
wouldn't. No.
Are you
no,
kidding me? He was
No.
flying
45?
that night.
Yeah, no. 45, dude. That's a long time on a Supercross track, bro.
I barely see 45-second wins outdoors.
Yeah, that's gonna happen. I know you can do the math right now, and we all know what the math would take in a 20+1, but it's never gonna happen outside of a mud race. A dry race, you would literally have to yank a hole shot and sprint the entire time, and then hope when you get into lap traffic, somebody doesn't goon out in front of you.
I mean, you don't have to sprint.
And you'd have to race the Futures class.
And you'd have to race the Futures class or the whole entire 250 LCQ.
We'll get to features.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
he does so good. I was
Okay.
doing
We
great.
were doing
until-
well.
Okay.
We were doing well.
All right, so
Until he does that.
Who you got for the title between Jet and...
Honestly,
Ooh, it's
I agree with
tough
your
right now.
reaction video because I watched the 450 part of it. I didn't watch the 250
That's
side.
okay. Watch some of it. Hell
Wow.
I agree with your assessment. I'm going to have to wait until after this coming weekend, especially if it ends up being a mutter, because I think that I'll just say this, I think if Jet wins, it's going to be really hard to bet against him. But if Coop wins, and I don't care how he wins, 3 rounds to go, one of them we not knowing what's going to happen. The other 2 rounds, we know how the tracks break down, literally the same every year, outside of it snowing like it did in 2012. It's going to be really hard. And now that it's been proven that, like we just talked about, Jet starts being up and down, ask me that question after this weekend, and I'll give you a definitive
I think
answer.
I will too. It's so hard because Jet clearly has more speed.
Yeah.
But
Coop's
Jet's
a dog.
but Jet's never been in a championship pressure situation like this.
Which is weird, actually, to think about. He actually is right.
Yeah, because every championship he's ever
Yeah, it's
won,
true.
he's locked it up a round or 2 early. He's
Yeah.
never taken it to the last round. So
That
how's
is-
that going to go?
Yeah,
That is actually...
That's an
That's
interesting
weird we haven't
point.
talked about that, right?
Yeah.
We have not talked about that. It's obvious. That's right, though. That is interesting. Not to say the Jet can't handle it mentally, because obviously he's a stud.
Mm-hmm.
That is true, though. He's never actually gone to win the fucking race or beat the guy in front of you or you lose the title.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so how's that going to work?
That might be a storyline if we have that going into... And then I'm just going to tell you I'm going to take Cooper Webb. Because the difference is Cooper Webb will saw your leg off.
I mean, Coop will,
Like, literally, he will saw it off.
yeah, I mean, he'll say something. He'll say some off the wall shit in the tunnel before the race or something.
Never mind.
Don't go there. Don't go. Please don't go there. Like, we're already like a black sheep of
I stopped.
of the community.
I stopped.
Yeah, you almost didn't.
No, well, I
I'd
stopped.
just like you to not.
I stopped.
Okay.
I don't know where he was going with it.
You don't
but-
I
want
don't
to.
want. You don't
All
want
right,
to.
keep going.
All right, Tomac,
Oh, you- what's
6th
this?
place.
Never mind.
That was weird.
Is it like some star Yamaha?
Oh my god!
Like,
Hello,
pitting
hey,
outside
it's
the
fine.
truck?
No,
kind of stuff?
I'll be waiting.
no.
Oh.
It's no big deal.
Eli, no, he was good. I think it definitely proved last night though that after 15 minutes his body just shuts down. Because for him to do as well as he did and then
It was
make
really weird how good that heat race was. How about that star on the heat race too? You think you
Dude,
could hear the doghouse again?
the main too, but the main too though, like the main was great because there was times where he was pulling away from Jet and he was getting in and out of traffic, and then Jet gets behind him and then Jet gets around him, and you would think, okay, like they've been marking.
Well, he was. That I think that was the nail in the coffin because they had it to where they had that flashback. Tomac had that run through the whoops and almost barshed his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And then he lost probably 4 or 5 seconds. And just when you're going that
Yeah.
fast and at that speed and you're that far into the main, I don't think he was just able to make it back. Yeah. However, Jet did pass him and he was latching on.
he
to
was.
Jet.
Yeah.
And was pacing him and running with him, and then that happened, and it just
Yeah,
kind
you're
of
right,
took the
you're
wind out
right,
of his
you're
sails. So
it
I'm
was
not going to
good.
read too far into it. I think that's definitely going to be another as weird as it sounds, because he's on the Mount Rushmore, in my opinion, a learning moment for Eli.
I definitely
learning the speed.
I definitely agree with the same comment though that goes for Jet. If Jet gets a start, it's a high probability he wins. I think if Eli, same thing you say for Eli. Eli gets a start and he rides like he did in that heat race, he can win too.
Yep.
Because holy shit,
Yeah,
that was an insane heat race.
Yeah,
My God,
and pulling that 3-3 out, like.
And he didn't size it up in practice too. That's the thing. Jet was the only one that did it, and Eli was just like mid heat race. I'm like,
and you could kind of see him eyeing it up. He came out of that corner. I was like, damn, that's a rooster tail.
Yeah, I mean, dude.
Yep.
All right.
No,
good.
Hunter Lawrence 7th. Okay. Yep. There we are.
You think he had Twinkies on the way to the race?
Huh?
Any Twinkies?
Get that insulin going.
Yeah, a little insulin spike.
Nah, he was good though, man. He's kind of he's there now.
Yeah, it sucks that he's, from the trajectory, I guess, that he was on, and then his brother coming in, that he is now the second tier guy. You know what I mean? Kind of weird.
Which is damn good in Europe.
Justin Cooper, big get off in that heat.
I don't
almost
know
bad.
I don't know about you boys, but I honestly, when I saw that replay, I was like, oh, please not let it be an Austin Faulkner moment.
Oh, yeah.
Because he went flying through the air, and I was like, well, the side of the track's super close.
Yeah. That's pretty ugly, and I know he was probably sore.
Yeah.
It's so funny to watch those factory guys like that in the LCQ, like how timid they are.
They don't know what to do. They're like shit.
But that heat race though, he was pacing Eli.
He was, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, Jay Coops, he's good.
How about those star guys all day right together, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, all that kind of stuff, which is impressive. So
he's gonna be, dude. I'm telling you, outdoors, he's gonna be really good.
Can't wait.
Justin Hill 9th.
Hey,
Take your moment here.
Hey.
For one race a year.
Really? What the?
I don't know. Just yanks a start, running top 5.
I understand at the end of last year he did well, and then he got that 4th.
I mean, it's not a completely unloaded pack, and he ran 5th for a while.
But I'm like, where does this? This is the annoying thing with Justin Hill, is he's so damn talented, and then he does this shit out of nowhere. He pulls it out of his ass, and you're like, dude, I know that you don't care that much, but this is ridiculous.
Speaking of shit out of his ass, what was that move on Jet going into the sand? Did you guys see that?
No.
Jet passed him, and he was going into the sand, and he fucking squared him up. Went right, tried to block past his ass.
I mean, it seems like a very Justin Hill move.
Threw a fender right in there.
Good, do it.
But I'm wondering if Justin Hill is pissed off because Jet was probably behind him, move, get out of the way. Probably doing some shit like that.
You think that's what he was doing?
Yeah, he's like, get out of the fucking way, mate.
You think that's what he looks like too when he's doing it?
Think he called him a C word?
No.
Okay.
Maybe he's like,
kook?
Get the fuck out of the way.
Well, that was
more McGregor. That was McGregor.
That was
okay, we're gonna move on.
That was terrible.
Anyway, he was probably bitching at Hill and pissed him off. So
Stu 10th. Okay.
What Stu's doing?
Get off that bike.
Barsha 11th.
Get off that bike.
Get off that bike.
Retire.
Benny 12th.
Get off that bike.
You had to go through the LCQ.
Hold on, wait, we'll keep going. Colt Nichols 13th.
Get off that bike. Yeah.
Colt's issues go deeper than just the bike, but you're right.
You think it's a wrist still or what?
Yeah. I think he's gonna have. I think that's gonna be a lifetime thing.
That sucks, man.
Yeah, real bummer.
Good looking dude.
What?
Good looking guy.
Yeah.
What the?
Mitchell Harrison 14th.
That man, I'm pumped for him, bro.
Good race for him.
Good fucking race, man.
Yep.
Top private.
He said in a post-race interview, he's gone from, man, I just want to get in through the LCQ to now all right, cool, I'm main event guy. I'm going through the heats now.
Yeah, here's a great example of if things aren't going well on the 250F, say fuck the 250 and just grab a 450 and see where you're at.
The thing is, man, he was telling us in Indy, he wasn't even supposed to be on that bike. It was only because Tonti got hurt and his team owner went hey, you want to ride the 450? He's like, well, sure.
Yep.
Faulkner should do that.
Okay,
Faulkner should do a lot of things.
So here's something that we can talk about here. So AC 15th.
Retiring, as we
announced
all know.
his retirement. Anybody surprised?
No.
Nope.
No. I think did this announcement come a little earlier due to the ankle?
I think so.
No.
Well, I think that just I think that just sped it up.
Or was outdoors.
I don't think he was ever
going
to. I don't think he was ever going to do outdoors.
No, I don't think outdoors.
But I think this sped it up. I think that he was probably going to wait till the end of Supercross, and then he's just like, I might as well say it.
We'll still see him ride because he said
Once again on 250.
He'll finish it out.
He doesn't want to ride a 450. He's like, I can't handle a 450 anymore.
Well, yeah, but he said,
yeah.
he's like, when I don't have to go out and worry about lap times or going 20 minutes or whatever, he's like, I can still ride.
Yeah.
He's like, the thing is, it's just like, once the hand goes, and I'm just like, okay, cool, I'm done.
And
But he's
I
like,
believe that. For 2 laps, he can be the fastest in the world.
Bro, I want to see him, some edits of him this summer, just on a PC 250F, just throwing down at Glen Helen.
Oh, he'll be doing like... he'll still be around making content. He's a big content guy. So,
Okay, so you got like...
Does Tickle get booted?
Why would Tickle get booted?
like
Tickle's
testing?
a good tester. He's definitely
You
better
think
than AC
AC's
at testing.
I don't think AC's good at testing.
Tickle has probably got a lifetime role as a tester.
I don't know.
I don't think
Nobody has
lifetime,
ever. This is not. I'm not talking bad about AC. I'm just saying facts. No one has ever said AC is a good tester. Tickle actually is.
He doesn't. I don't know.
I also don't think AC is going to be a
It's
test
not
guy.
really a storyline for. Well, I mean, he can throw down for a few laps.
He can, but that doesn't mean he's going to test
and
for them.
And he's much fresher and much faster than Tickle ever was.
I don't know. I don't know what the budget looks
He's got
like.
the same
but
amount of titles though.
Why don't you call your
like,
guy
where-
and find out? You're a Kawasaki guy.
Yeah, but
Let's
I
go
don't
through
think
the roll.
they.
Let's go through
I
the
don't think
Rolodex.
they make an ambassador role for him because you've got
No.
McGrath, you've got Hodges. I don't
That's
know
why.
what kind
That's
of
why
program
I'm saying
Hodges is on.
they don't.
Tickle stand on the team.
Uh,
Here's my.
Hey, this is kind of interesting though. I did see this. Our marketing guy is on LinkedIn.
okay.
So this isn't insider information, but on LinkedIn, and it was a truck picking up 2 side-by-sides.
Yeah.
So obviously Kawasaki's making a big run at side-by-sides. And I'm looking at it, and they're 4-seaters, and I'm looking at the truck. I'm like, who is this? And it had a Fun Haver sticker on it. So Vaughn Gittin Jr.
Nice.
Oh,
picking
okay.
up 2 Kawasaki side-by-sides.
So-
Maybe he's making some RTR side-by-sides. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I like one getting. I got a question for you guys, and this probably would be more towards you. I know
Okay.
that you watch his content, but like you're more of the AC guy, and we all know that AC, because how articulate he is, a good-looking kid. Like he would.
Whoa.
What? You just said Colt Nichols was a good look. Shut the fuck
Better
up.
looking than AC.
Whatever.
Hey, my mom
he needs
says
to
I
be-
look like AC, so thank you.
Did you just say your mom says you look like AC?
Yeah, my mom's like, you and Cianciarulo look alike. And
So
Justin
many-
just said he was good looking.
I have so many comments right
so
now. Please continue
that
on
means Justin
before I
thinks
make
I'm
them.
good looking.
Anyways,
please continue on
we
before
all,
I make
and we've said
comments.
this for a long time. Like we'd like to see him in the booth. Like we're doing this rotating thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any truth though?
The fuck was that?
Was that a bomb? I think somebody just died.
That sounded like a car accident right there, didn't it?
God, I hope so.
I'm not sure.
That literally sounded that.
That was loud.
So that was too big to be a gunshot.
Maybe we should pause the show here.
yeah,
We're back.
pause
We'll
the
be right
show.
back.
All right, and we're back. We have no idea what happened. It was a big boom.
So
Boom went to dynamite.
Boom
must
went
be.
to
back to my question.
And
Yeah.
Boom went AC's career.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
we've all talked about how we would love to see AC in the booth, commentator, whatever.
Yes.
Is there any truth to the comment? Somebody told me that he made a comment that he actually ultimately one day wants to work for like ESPN. He wants to commentate, like he wants to do like not just motorsports related things, like he wants to do like football, basket, like
Oh, dude, yeah, and he openly said like, yeah, he talked about that on his pod.
Okay.
Like that's the career
that's a legit
that he
thing.
wants to pursue.
yeah.
All right, cool. So that's legit.
That's cool. I mean, the thing is like, where's he going to go in the booth? Are you going to kick out Ricky?
I think they
No.
need to do this rotating thing.
It'd have to be outdoors
Yeah.
because I don't think
I like
Stu-
the rotating thing, and they need to bring the rotating thing into Supercross.
I think it'll be outdoors, man. I bet we see him outdoors a little bit this year too, because I don't think Stu committed to another full season like he did this past year. I mean,
Whatever.
dude,
I
him
think
and
that-
Weege in the booth, that'd be great.
We'll see. We'll see.
That would
So-
be great.
All right. Cade Clayson 16th,
Okay, let's on.
Chiz 17th,
Just making mans.
Jeremy Hand 18th,
Jeremy Hand.
Jerry Robin 19th,
Wow, made a main.
Ty Masterpool 20th,
Ready for outdoors.
Shane McElrath 21st,
Good. Just good.
Devin Simonson 22nd. All right.
Surprised he hasn't blown up a bike yet.
That's been your. Oh, I guess one other thing before we end this here. So AP crashes in practice, hurts his elbow.
Has there been any more, like, is he done for the rest of Supercross?
Haven't seen anything.
What did he do? Did he tuck the front end after the triple?
Yes.
Then he hit a
Is that what it
tough
was?
block, right?
No, I think it's just the braking bumps going down the triple,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
he just washed the front and boom, right on the elbow. Yeah, that was rough. That was rough.
Yeah, I really hope it doesn't. Well, I mean, dude, Supercross now has been derailed, but I really hope he doesn't have to miss the rest of Supercross because once again, be the story of AP's fucking career, like doing really, really good, injury.
Yep. So, all right, that's been your 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutter Works. Always well hung, like Cameron Sackadoo there.